Hello, everyone. Tonight we step into the dusty, bustling streets of ancient Rome, where the air is thick with the scent of roasting chestnuts, sweat, and the unmistakable tang of olives. You're standing behind a rickety wooden stand, trying to sell olives, not just any olives, but the kind that Romans snack on between bouts of cheering for gladiators. The Colosseum looms in the distance, its roar echoing through the city like a relentless heartbeat. Meanwhile, your faithful companion, Skrapi, a goat with no apparent purpose other than to wander off at the worst moments, nibbles on some discarded bread crusts nearby, blissfully unaware of the chaos you're about to face.
Before you settle in, take 2 seconds to like and subscribe. It helps more people find this and unwind, just like you're about to. And hey, while you're at it, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. It's always fascinating to see how far and wide these stories travel. Now, lower the lights. Let the hum of the world fade behind you. Tonight, it's just you and this story. You shuffle your wares, arranging the olives in neat little bowls, hoping to catch the eye of a passerby. The market is alive with noise, vendors shouting, children running, and the occasional clatter of a cartwheel over cobblestones. Skrapi, true to form, wanders off to investigate a suspicious pile of rubbish, chewing thoughtfully on a wilted fig leaf. You sigh. You probably wouldn't survive selling olives in ancient Rome if it weren't for sheer stubbornness and an inexplicable bond with this goat. Selling olives might sound like a simple gig, but you're about to learn it's anything but. Did you know olives were the backbone of Roman cuisine and economy? Romans consumed them in staggering quantities, and olive oil was practically liquid gold. It's said that the olive tree was sacred to Minerva, goddess of wisdom and crafts, which might explain why you feel like you need divine intervention just to make a sale. Historians still debate whether the olive trade was more profitable for the wealthy landowners or the small vendors like you eking out a living in the city. As the sun climbs higher, the crowd thickens. Gladiator fans flood the streets, their faces painted with the colors of their favorite fighters. You try to ignore the roar from the Colosseum, but it's impossible. The excitement is contagious, and yet here you are, just a humble olive seller trying to catch a break. Meanwhile, Skrapi has found a new interest, a group of senators arguing loudly nearby. He wanders into their midst, causing a minor stir. You rush over, hoping to retrieve him before he becomes the talk of the forum. The market is a microcosm of Rome itself, vibrant, chaotic, and utterly unpredictable. You watch as a wealthy patrician strolls past, barely glancing at your stand. Then a group of plebeians, tired from a long day's work, pause to sample your olives, their faces lighting up with genuine appreciation. It's moments like these that keep you going, even though you know the odds are stacked against you. Selling olives in ancient Rome isn't just about food, it's about survival amidst grandeur and spectacle. You're a small cog in a massive machine, but your story matters. And with Skrapi by your side, whether he's munching on scraps or causing a scene, you're never truly alone.
The Colosseum's roar is like a distant thunderstorm rolling through the city, relentless and electrifying. You can feel the vibrations through the cobblestones beneath your feet as the crowd inside erupts with cheers and gasps. Gladiators are the rock stars of ancient Rome, and their battles are the hottest ticket in town. But here you are, stuck behind your modest olive stand, trying to catch the attention of anyone who isn't too busy screaming for their favorite champion. You wonder, with a mix of envy and resignation, why you didn't choose some more glamorous profession, like lion tamer or chariot racer. But hey, someone's got to sell the snacks. The hype around gladiator games is palpable. Every day, thousands flock to the Colosseum, eager to witness blood, sweat, and sand fly. The amphitheater, completed in 80 AD under Emperor Titus, could hold up to 50,000 spectators. Imagine the sheer volume of mouths to feed. You're convinced that the demand for olives spikes whenever the games are on. After all, olives were the perfect snack. Salty, savory, and easy to munch while cheering on a fight to the death. Plus, they're portable. unlike a full meal that would require sitting down and utensils. You arrange your bowls of green and black olives, some stuffed with herbs, others marinated in vinegar. Each batch is a gamble. Too sour, and the customers wrinkle their noses. Too bland, and they move on. Skrapi, your ever-curious goat, is sprawled lazily nearby, occasionally flicking his tail to shoo away flies. You swear he's more interested in the gladiator hype than you are, as he occasionally pricks his ears toward the distant roars. Interestingly, historians still debate whether gladiator games were purely entertainment or a tool for political control. Some argue the games were a way to distract the masses from economic hardships and social unrest. You can't help but think that your olive stand is a tiny part of that grand spectacle, feeding the distracted crowd while the powerful play their games. Amid the crowd, you spot a few familiar faces. A grizzled butcher who always buys your olives to snack on during his breaks, a group of young apprentices who giggle as they sneak olives behind their masters' backs, and a senator's servant who eyes your goods with barely concealed disdain. The city is alive, and your little stand is a small island in this sea of noise and chaos. Skrapi suddenly bolts toward a group of gladiators warming up nearby. You curse under your breath and chase after him, dodging startled spectators and a stray dog. The gladiators barely notice the goat, but you're sure the trainers will not be amused. After a few tense moments, you manage to coax Skrapi back with a handful of olives, his favorite bribe. You wonder if he's secretly plotting to become a gladiator himself, or maybe just the first goat to ever sell olives in Rome. The day wears on, and the Colosseum's roar fades as the games end. The crowd disperses, some still buzzing with excitement, others nursing bruised egos or sore limbs. You pack up your unsold olives, tallying your modest earnings. It's not much, but it's enough to keep you going for another day. And through it all, Skrapi follows, content to be your loyal, if unpredictable, companion.
Olives aren't just a snack in ancient Rome, they're practically a way of life. As you wipe the dust off your stand, you remind yourself that these little fruits have shaped empires, economies, and even wars. The olive tree, with its gnarled branches and silvery leaves, is sacred to Romans. They believe it symbolizes peace, wisdom, and prosperity. You might be just a humble olive seller, but you're part of a vast network that stretches from the sun-baked groves of Hispania to the hills of Italy and beyond. The olive trade is a massive industry. Olive oil alone is used for cooking, lighting lamps, medicinal purposes, and even as a beauty product. You overhear a customer boasting about how the best olive oil comes from Baetica in southern Spain, a region famous for its fertile soil and skilled farmers. It's said that Roman soldiers carried olive oil with them on campaigns, not just for nourishment, but to soothe their battle wounds. Skrapi, meanwhile, is busy investigating a pile of discarded olive pits, crunching them with surprising enthusiasm. You learn that olives are harvested by hand, a painstaking process that requires patience and skill. The harvest season is a frenzy of activity, with farmers, slaves, and hired workers gathering the fruit before it spoils. You're lucky if you can get your hands on fresh olives during this time, but demand skyrockets, and prices fluctuate wildly. It's a gamble every season. Too much stock, and your olives spoil. Too little, and you miss out on sales. Historians still debate whether the olive economy was more beneficial to wealthy landowners or to small vendors like yourself. Some argue that large estates, or latifundia, dominated production and squeezed out smaller farmers. Others say that the olive trade provided opportunities for upward mobility, even if only a few managed to climb the ladder. You're somewhere in the middle, just trying to keep your stand stocked and your customers happy. Your customers have diverse tastes. Some prefer green olives, firm and slightly bitter, while others go for the softer black variety. You've experimented with marinating olives in herbs like rosemary and thyme, hoping to attract more buyers. One elderly woman swears that olives cured her son's stomach ache.
while a young soldier claims they give him strength for the arena. You smile knowing that olives are as much about stories and beliefs as they are about flavor. Skrapi, ever the unpredictable companion, wanders off again, this time toward a group of street performers juggling flaming torches. You sigh and follow, wondering how you ended up with a goat who has zero interest in olives but plenty of curiosity about everything else. It's moments like these that make your mediocre life a little more interesting. The olive tree's significance goes beyond food and economy. It's a symbol woven into Roman culture and religion. Olive branches are used to crown victors and symbolize peace treaties. You recall reading that the Romans believed the goddess Minerva gifted the olive tree to humanity, a divine blessing that brought civilization and prosperity. It's ironic that you, a nobody in the grand scheme, are part of this sacred tradition. As the sun dips lower, you pack up the remaining olives, reflecting on how these tiny fruits connect you to a world much bigger than your stand. Skrapi curls up beside you, chewing contentedly on a stray olive leaf. You might not be a gladiator or a senator, but in this olive-scented corner of Rome, you have your place.
Skrapi, your ever-unpredictable goat, has a knack for turning the most mundane days into unexpected adventures. Today, he decides the Forum Romanum is the perfect playground. You barely have time to finish ranging your olive bowls when you notice him trotting off toward the heart of Rome's political and social hub. The Forum is alive with senators debating, merchants shouting, and citizens milling about, but your goat doesn't care. He's on a mission to explore. You chase after him, weaving through crowds and dodging carts. Skrapi, of course, is oblivious to your urgency, stopping to nibble on a senator's toga and then to sniff suspiciously at a pile of scrolls. You can almost hear the gasps and the muttered curses from the dignitaries as your goat disrupts their serious discussions. It's a spectacle, and you're the reluctant ringmaster. The Forum Romanum is the beating heart of Rome. It's where laws are made, justice is served, and gossip spreads faster than wildfire. You know that this place is crucial to the empire's functioning, but to you, it's mostly a chaotic maze of marble columns and shouting voices. Skrapi's antics only add to the confusion as he manages to knock over a small statue and narrowly avoids a scolding from a stern-looking magistrate. Interestingly, historians still debate whether the Forum was more a place of political power or social theater. Some argue it was the center of genuine governance, while others see it as a stage for public performance and spectacle. Watching Skrapi's goatish escapades, you lean toward the latter. Rome's elite certainly seem to enjoy a good show. Your olive stand, meanwhile, sits forgotten on the edge of the Forum, your customers distracted by the commotion. You try to call Skrapi back, but he's too busy investigating a group of gladiators who have wandered into the square. You can't help but laugh at the absurdity, a goat mingling with hardened fighters, seemingly unbothered by their imposing presence. The Forum is also a marketplace, and you see vendors selling everything from fresh bread to exotic spices. The competition is fierce, and your humble olives often get lost in the noise. You remind yourself that survival here isn't about being the loudest or flashiest. It's about persistence, and maybe a little luck. Skrapi, of course, seems to rely solely on chaos. As the sun climbs higher, the Forum fills with the scent of roasting meats, fresh herbs, and, of course, olives. You spot a few familiar faces, plebeians grabbing quick snacks, patricians striding by with their noses in the air, and slaves hustling between stalls. The social hierarchy is impossible to ignore, but here, at least everyone needs to eat. Skrapi finally tires of his explorations and returns to your side, looking pleased with himself. Selling olives in ancient Rome might not be glamorous, but with a goat like Skrapi, it's never boring.
The day's not over until you've wrestled with Rome's notorious taxes and tolls, those invisible chains that bind even the lowliest olive seller. You thought selling olives was tough. Try navigating the labyrinthine bureaucracy that comes with it. Every time you sell a bowl of olives, a slice of your hard-earned coin vanishes into the coffers of the empire.
The tax collectors, or publicani, are as relentless as the gladiator crowds and just as unforgiving. You stand in line at the tax office, a cramped, dusty room filled with disgruntled vendors and scribes. The air smells of ink, sweat, and stale bread. Skrapi, ever the free spirit, curls up under a bench, blissfully unaware of the financial doom looming over you. You clutch your ledger nervously, hoping your sales numbers are enough to keep the taxman at bay. Roman taxes are a complex beast. There's the portorium on goods entering the city, the vectigal on land, and the annona, a grain tax that sometimes affects other goods like olives indirectly. Historians still debate whether Roman taxes were oppressive or a necessary evil that funded the empire's vast infrastructure. From where you stand, they feel like a relentless drain on your meager profits. You recall hearing that Emperor Augustus reformed the tax system to make it more efficient, but efficiency doesn't mean kindness. The publicani were often private contractors who collected taxes with a zeal that bordered on cruelty. You've heard stories of vendors forced to sell their goods at a loss just to pay their dues. Your own olive stand teeters on that edge every month. As you shuffle paperwork, a fellow vendor complains loudly about a recent hike in tolls on the Via Sacra, the main road leading to the Forum. You grimace, knowing that every extra coin spent on tolls means fewer olives sold. Skrapi, sensing your frustration, nuzzles your leg, offering silent solidarity. You scratch behind his ears, grateful for the small comfort. The bureaucracy isn't just about money, it's about survival. You need permits to sell in certain areas, licenses to transport goods, and approvals that seem to multiply like weeds. One wrong signature or missing stamp could mean a hefty fine, or worse, being shut down. You wonder how anyone manages to keep a business afloat in such a system. Outside, the city hums with activity. The scent of roasting meats mingles with the salty breeze from the Tiber River. You step out for a breath of fresh air, Skrapi trotting beside you, and watch as a group of tax collectors mount their horses, ready to patrol the streets. You hope they don't have you on their radar today. Despite the challenges, you remind yourself that this is Rome, the city that built roads stretching thousands of miles, aqueducts that bring fresh water, and arenas that hold tens of thousands of spectators. Your small olive stand is a tiny thread in this vast tapestry, but it's your thread, and with Skrapi by your side, you're ready to face whatever bureaucratic beast comes next.
The gladiator games may steal the spotlight, but your life as a plebeian is a constant grind beneath the grandeur of Rome's marble facades. You wake up each morning to the cacophony of the city, the clatter of carts, the shouts of vendors, and the distant roar of the Colosseum. Your olive stand is your world, but it's a world shadowed by the struggles of everyday survival. Plebeians like you form the backbone of Rome, yet you're often overlooked in history's grand narratives. You live in cramped insulae, multi-story apartment blocks that are fire hazards waiting to happen. Your neighbors argue over water rights, and the smell of refuse lingers in the narrow streets. Historians still debate how much agency plebeians had in Roman politics, but from your vantage point, it feels like the powerful make decisions without a second thought for your daily hardships. You watch as a group of patricians stroll past, their togas pristine and their expressions aloof. Their world is one of banquets and political intrigue, far removed from your olive-scented corner. Yet when the games are on, even they mingle with the masses, united in their thirst for spectacle. It's a strange equality, fleeting and superficial, but it's something. Skrapi, true to form, has found a puddle to splash in, sending a spray of muddy water onto your sandals. You scowl, but can't stay mad at him for long. His antics provide a welcome distraction from the monotony. You wonder if he understands the precariousness of your existence, or if he's blissfully ignorant, living in the moment without a care. The day wears on, and you navigate the challenges of securing fresh olives, dealing with demanding customers, and avoiding the ever-present threat of theft. Rome is a city of contrasts, wealth and poverty side by side, luxury and squalor intertwined. You're caught in the middle, trying to carve out a modest life amid the chaos. You overhear a conversation about the grain dole, a government program that provides free or subsidized grain to citizens. It's a lifeline for many plebeians, but also a source of political tension. Some say it's a tool to keep the masses pacified, while others see it as a necessary support system. You haven't qualified for the dole, but you know people who rely on it to survive. As the sun sets, you pack up your stand, tired but relieved to have made it through another day. Skrapi curls up beside you, his soft breathing a comforting rhythm in the fading light. You reflect on your place in this vast empire, a small, often invisible cog in a machine that spans continents and centuries. Selling olives in ancient Rome might not make you famous or wealthy, but it makes you part of a living history, and with Skrapi by your side, you're never truly alone in the struggle.
Harvest season arrives with the sudden intensity of a summer storm, turning your quiet olive stand into a whirlwind of activity and chaos. The streets buzz with farmers, laborers, and merchants, all scrambling to get their share of the season's bounty. You find yourself caught in the middle of this frenzy, trying to secure fresh olives before your competitors snatch them up. Skrapi, surprisingly, seems to sense the urgency and sticks close, occasionally munching on fallen leaves as if to remind you to slow down. The olive harvest is a critical time in Rome's agricultural calendar. Olives are picked by hand, often using long poles or nets to catch the fruit as it falls. The process is labor-intensive and time-sensitive because olives spoil quickly if not processed. You overhear farmers boasting about this year's yield, praising the mild winter and abundant rain. Historians still debate whether Roman agricultural practices were sustainable or if they contributed to soil depletion over time. But for now, the groves are heavy with fruit. Competition is fierce. Other vendors eye you warily as you negotiate with suppliers, trying to strike a deal that won't leave you penniless. You're no master negotiator, but desperation sharpens your instincts. Skrapi, meanwhile, has found a patch of wild herbs and seems content to graze, oblivious to the tension around you. The market is alive with the scent of fresh olives, crushed leaves, and the earthy aroma of the surrounding countryside. You try to focus on your task, but the noise and bustle threaten to overwhelm you. A group of wealthy merchants pass by, their carts laden with barrels of olive oil destined for distant provinces. You can only dream of such wealth. Interestingly, some Romans believed that the quality of olives was influenced by the moon's phases during harvest, a superstition that still puzzles modern scholars. You're not sure if it's true, but you find yourself glancing nervously at the sky, hoping for a favorable sign. As the day wears on, you manage to secure a decent batch of olives, though not without a few bruises and a lot of sweat. Skrapi trots happily beside you, his coat dusted with pollen and leaves. You can't help but smile at the absurdity of your partnership, a mediocre olive seller and a goat navigating the chaos of ancient Rome's harvest season. By evening, the market quiets and you return to your stand, exhausted but satisfied. The olives you secured will keep your business afloat for another week, at least. You sit down, sharing a simple meal with Skrapi, grateful for the small victories in a city that never sleeps.
Roman street food culture is a vibrant tapestry of flavors, smells, and textures, and your olives are just one small but essential thread in this bustling culinary scene. As you set up your stand each morning, you watch the city's inhabitants grab quick bites between errands, conversations, and, of course, gladiator games. The aroma of freshly baked bread mingles with roasting meats and the tangy scent of fermented fish sauce, garum. Your olives, whether plain, stuffed with herbs, or marinated in vinegar, compete for attention in this crowded marketplace. You decide to get creative, trying to attract more customers by offering olive variations, some spiced with crushed pepper, others soaked in wine. The reactions are mixed. An elderly plebeian nods approvingly at your peppered olives, while a young apprentice wrinkles his nose at the wine-soaked batch. It's a reminder that taste is as diverse as the city itself. Skrapi, ever the connoisseur, seems indifferent to your culinary experiments. He's more interested in the scraps left behind by distracted customers or the occasional stray fig. You catch him eyeing a vendor selling honey cakes and wonder if he has a sweet tooth. Street food in Rome isn't just about sustenance, it's a social experience. People gather around stalls to share news, gossip, and laughter. Your olive stand becomes a small hub of interaction where you overhear discussions about the latest gladiator match or the emperor's new decree. Historians still debate how much influence street vendors had on public opinion, but it's clear that marketplaces were vibrant centers of communication. You notice that some customers prefer olives as a quick snack, while others buy larger quantities to take home for family meals. This dual demand shapes your inventory and pricing strategies. You try to balance quality with affordability, knowing that your customers' loyalty depends on it. The city's diversity is reflected in the variety of olive preparations. You learn about regional preferences, how Sicilian olives tend to be saltier, while those from Gaul are milder. It's fascinating to see how a simple fruit can carry the flavor of distant lands, connecting you to the broader empire. As the day progresses, your stand attracts a steady stream of customers. You exchange smiles, jokes, and occasional complaints, feeling a sense of belonging amid the city's chaos. Skrapi, after a brief nap, wanders off again toward a group of street musicians. You shake your head, amused and resigned. Selling olives in ancient Rome might not be glamorous, but it's a flavorful slice of life. And with Skrapi by your side, every day brings a new taste of adventure.
Life in ancient Rome is a complex web of social roles and labor, and your olive stand is no exception. Today, you find yourself reluctantly interacting with a slave assigned to assist you, a young man named Marcus, who seems just as mediocre at his tasks as you are. The dynamics between master and slave are complicated, and you're caught somewhere between frustration and reluctant dependence. Marcus arrives early, carrying baskets of olives and water. He moves efficiently, but with a quiet resignation that hints at a life far from freedom. Slavery in Rome was widespread and varied. Some slaves were household servants, others laborers or skilled artisans. Historians still debate the extent to which slaves could influence their own lives or gain manumission. For you, Marcus is both a helper and a reminder of the social hierarchy that keeps you tethered. You try to delegate some tasks, arranging olives, cleaning the stand, but Marcus has his own ideas, often ignoring your instructions in favor of his routine. You catch him sneaking a few olives when he thinks you're not looking, and you can't blame him. Skrapi watches the exchange with mild amusement, occasionally bleating as if to comment on the human drama. The presence of a slave complicates your business. You worry about appearances. Customers might judge you for mistreating Marcus, or for being too lax. You also wonder if Marcus resents working for someone as unremarkable as you. Despite this, you find moments of camaraderie, sharing brief conversations about the city, the weather, and the gladiator games. The relationship between slaves and their owners is a subject of ongoing debate among historians. Some argue that slaves had limited agency, but could form bonds and negotiate for better treatment. Others see the system as inherently oppressive, leaving little room for kindness. Your experience with Marcus is somewhere in between, a daily negotiation of power and survival. As the day wears on, Marcus proves invaluable, managing to attract a few customers with his quiet charm. You realize that your mediocre skills might be compensated by his steady presence. Skrapi, sensing the shift, settles down beside Marcus, as if approving this new alliance. The complexities of Roman society are mirrored in your small olive stand. You're not just selling fruit, You're navigating a world of social expectations, power dynamics, and human relationships. It's exhausting, but strangely rewarding. As evening falls, you and Marcus share a modest meal while Skrapi dozes nearby. The city's lights flicker on, and the distant sounds of the Colosseum fade into the night. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but for now, there's a fragile peace.
You never thought chasing a goat could be a full-time job, but here you are, sprinting through the narrow, crowded streets of Rome after Skrapi's latest escape. This time, he's made a beeline for the gladiator training grounds, an area you've been warned to avoid unless you want trouble. The clang of swords and the grunts of fighters fill the air as you dodge trainees and trainers alike, your olive basket swinging wildly at your sides. Skrapi, oblivious to the danger, weaves effortlessly through the chaos, occasionally stopping to nibble on a discarded piece of leather or to butt a startled trainee. You curse under your breath, dodging a flying practice sword and hoping no one mistakes you for a novice gladiator. Historians still debate the exact training methods of gladiators, but one thing is clear: the grounds are no place for a goat or a mediocre olive seller. The training area is a world apart from your usual market hustle. Here, discipline and brutality reign supreme. The air smells of sweat, blood, and sand, mingling with the faint scent of olive oil used to soothe sore muscles. You can't help but feel out of place, a small fish in a very dangerous pond. Your frantic chase draws the attention of a few gladiators, some amused, others annoyed. One of them, a burly man with a scarred face, offers a rare smile as he watches Skrapi dart between training dummies. You wonder if even these hardened fighters find your goat's antics entertaining. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, you corner Skrapi near a pile of wooden shields. He looks up at you, eyes gleaming with mischief, as if daring you to catch him. You sigh, scoop him up, and make a hasty retreat, grateful to escape without injury. Back at your olive stand, you set Skrapi down, who immediately begins chewing on a stray olive leaf. You shake your head, amused and exasperated. Selling olives in ancient Rome might be a modest life, but with a goat like Skrapi, it's never dull.
The Colosseum crowd is a living, breathing beast. Their moods rise and fall like the tide, and your olive sales ebb and flow with their cheers and groans. Today, you notice how the energy before the fights is electric. People are buzzing with anticipation, faces painted, voices loud. You set up your stand near one of the main entrances, hoping to catch the hungry masses as they flood in. Skrapi lounges nearby, seemingly indifferent to the excitement, but you know better. He's always alert to the scent of dropped snacks. The roar of the crowd is deafening as the gladiators enter the arena, their armor gleaming in the sun. You can almost taste the adrenaline in the air. It's fascinating how these games unite all classes, from senators in their ivory togas to plebeians like you, all sharing the same spectacle. Historians still debate whether the games were a unifying force or a tool for social control, but for now, they're your best chance at selling olives. Between bouts, the crowd's mood shifts. Victories bring cheers and increased appetite, while defeats cast a somber pall. You notice a group of soldiers buying your olives, their faces smeared with sweat and dirt, eager for a quick snack. A wealthy patrician tosses a coin your way, perhaps out of charity or amusement. Skrapi, ever opportunistic, nuzzles a child who's dropped a handful of olives, earning a few giggles. The games are long, and the crowd's needs change throughout the day. You adjust your sales pitch accordingly, offering smaller portions for quick bites and larger bowls for those settling in. Your olive varieties, spiced, marinated, plain, find different fans among the diverse audience. It's a delicate dance, balancing supply with demand in a volatile environment. You overhear whispers about upcoming matches and rumored gladiator rivalries. The city is alive with stories, and your stand is a front row seat. Skrapi, after a brief nap, wanders off again, this time toward a group of vendors selling roasted chestnuts.
You smile, knowing that no matter how chaotic the games get, you and your goat will weather the storm together. The debate over olive oil versus table olives is more than just a culinary curiosity. It's a reflection of Roman culture itself. And today, you find yourself caught in the middle of it. Your modest stand offers both, but you wonder which product will sell better. Olive oil is prized for cooking, lighting lamps, and even as a cosmetic, while table olives are the beloved snack of the masses. You try to gauge your customers' preferences, but the answer isn't always clear. You overhear a heated discussion between two merchants nearby. One insists that olive oil is the true treasure of Rome, essential to daily life and trade. The other argues that table olives are the snack that fuels the city's workforce and gladiators alike. Historians still debate which product had a greater economic impact, but for you, it's a question of survival, selling enough of either to keep your stand afloat. Your inventory reflects this duality. You have jars of rich golden olive oil, thick and fragrant, alongside bowls of green and black olives, some stuffed with herbs or marinated in vinegar. You experiment with marketing, offering small tastings and pairing suggestions, hoping to entice passers-by. Skrapi, uninterested in your sales tactics, prefers to nap under the shade of your stand. The production of olive oil is a complex process involving crushing, pressing, and filtering. It's said that the best oil comes from the first cold pressing, a fact you share with curious customers. Table olives, on the other hand, require careful curing to remove bitterness, a skill passed down through generations. You marvel at how much effort goes into these simple pleasures. As the day progresses, you notice that certain customers gravitate toward one product or the other. Soldiers on the go prefer the quick energy of olives, while housewives and merchants often buy olive oil in bulk. You adjust your sales pitch accordingly, highlighting the versatility of oil and the convenience of olives. Skrapi, sensing the ebb and flow of customers, stretches and ambles over to a nearby vendor selling fresh bread. You smile, realizing that your humble olive stand is part of a larger culinary ecosystem, one that sustains a city as vast and complex as Rome.
Religion and superstition weave through every corner of Roman life, and your olive stand is no exception. Today, you notice how omens and rituals subtly influence the market's rhythm. A group of customers pauses nervously as a soothsayer passes by, muttering predictions of doom or fortune. You wonder if their hesitance is due to the prophet's words or just the usual market jitters. Meanwhile, Skrapi, oblivious to the spiritual drama, is busy investigating a small altar dedicated to Mercury, the god of commerce. The Romans take their god seriously. Before starting any business, many would perform rituals to seek favor and ward off bad luck. Olive branches themselves are symbols of peace and prosperity, often used in religious ceremonies. You recall that during certain festivals, selling or buying olives was considered especially auspicious. Historians still debate how deeply these beliefs affected everyday commerce, but it's clear that religion and superstition were inseparable from daily life. Skrapi, sensing the tension, wanders near a vendor offering small charms and amulets. He knocks over a bowl of lucky coins, causing a minor uproar. You rush to apologize, but the vendor just laughs, saying that even the gods have a sense of humor. You smile, grateful for the light-hearted moment. Market days are often punctuated by sacrifices and offerings to various deities, hoping to ensure good harvests and successful sales. You've seen merchants carry small statuettes of Fortuna, the goddess of luck, and you sometimes catch yourself glancing at the sky, hoping for a favorable sign. It's a strange mix of faith and practicality. As the sun sets, you pack up your stand, feeling the comforting weight of routine and ritual. Skrapi curls up beside you, seemingly content after a day of divine mischief. Selling olives in ancient Rome might be fraught with superstition, but it's also filled with moments of connection and hope.
As the week winds down, you find yourself counting coins with a mixture of relief and disbelief. Your modest earnings from selling olives barely cover the costs of supplies, taxes, and the occasional bribe to keep the tax collectors at bay. Yet, despite the challenges, you've survived another week in the relentless pulse of ancient Rome. Skrapi lounges beside you, chewing lazily on a stray olive leaf, completely unfazed by your financial worries. You reflect on your place in this sprawling empire, a tiny, often overlooked thread in the vast tapestry of Roman history. While senators debate laws and gladiators fight for glory, you hustle to make ends meet, your life a quiet testament to the countless plebeians who kept the city alive. Historians still debate how much the common folk influenced Rome's destiny, but your daily grind is proof that history isn't just made by the famous, it's lived by the ordinary. The week has been a whirlwind of sights, sounds, and smells. The roar of the Colosseum, the scent of roasting meats, the tang of olives and vinegar. You've navigated taxes, chased Skrapi through gladiator grounds, and witnessed the chaos of the Forum. Each day has been a lesson in survival, patience, and the odd comfort found in routine. Skrapi, your faithful but unpredictable companion, has been both a blessing and a curse. His antics have caused more than a few headaches, but his presence is a constant reminder that even in mediocrity, there's companionship and laughter. You wonder how a goat ended up as your sidekick in this ancient city, but you wouldn't have it any other way. As you stash your coins and prepare to rest, you think about tomorrow. Another week, another chance to survive, to sell, to exist in a city that never stops moving. It's not a glamorous life, but it's yours. And with Skrapi by your side, you face the future with a weary but hopeful heart.
The day draws to a close, and you find solace in the quiet moments shared with Skrapi. The city's frenetic energy fades into a gentle hum as the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows over the cobblestones. You sit on a worn stone bench near your olive stand, the cool evening breeze carrying the distant sounds of laughter and chatter from nearby taverns. Skrapi lies at your feet, contentedly chewing on a stray olive leaf, his eyes half closed in peaceful repose. In this calm, you reflect on the week's trials and small victories, the relentless hustle, the unexpected chaos, and the fleeting moments of joy. Selling olives in ancient Rome might not have made you a hero or a legend, but it has woven you into the fabric of this vast empire. You are part of the countless ordinary lives that pulse beneath the grandeur of history, the unseen threads that hold the tapestry together. Skrapi's quiet companionship is a balm to your weary spirit. His unpredictable antics may have caused headaches, but they also brought laughter and a sense of belonging. In a city where everyone is striving for greatness, you find comfort in mediocrity, in the simple act of surviving and sharing these moments with a loyal friend. As night deepens, the stars emerge, twinkling like distant lanterns over the rooftops. The scent of olives and earth lingers in the air, mingling with the soft murmurs of the city settling in to rest. You breathe deeply, feeling the weight of the day lift from your shoulders. Tomorrow is uncertain, filled with the same challenges and unpredictability. But for now, you are safe, grounded, and at peace. The world outside may roar with the echoes of gladiators and emperors, but here, in this quiet corner, you and Skrapi share a moment of stillness. Let your eyes grow heavy, your breath slow and steady. Imagine the olive groves swaying gently in a warm breeze, the soft bleat of a goat nearby, and the comforting rhythm of a city that never truly sleeps. You are part of this story, and as you drift into sleep, know that you are exactly where you need to be.
Now, as your eyelids grow heavy and the world softens into shadows, let the gentle rhythm of ancient Rome's evening lull you into rest. The bustling streets fade away, replaced by the whisper of olive leaves rustling in a warm, tender breeze. Imagine Skrapi, your faithful goat companion, nestled beside you, his breathing slow and steady, a quiet heartbeat in the stillness. Feel the cool stone beneath you, grounding you in this moment of peace. The city's distant murmurs become a soothing hum, a lullaby carried on the night air. You are safe here, wrapped in the embrace of history's quiet corners, far from the roar of the Colosseum and the clamor of the Forum. Let your mind wander through the olive groves, where the silvery leaves shimmer under a moonlit sky. The scent of earth and fruit fills the air, calming your thoughts and easing your breath. Each gentle sway of the branches is a reminder that even in the midst of chaos, there is stillness to be found. As you drift deeper into sleep, carry with you the comfort of companionship, the resilience of ordinary lives, and the timeless rhythm of a city that has seen countless dawns and dusks. Tomorrow will come with its challenges, but for now, rest. You are exactly where you belong. Sweet dreams.